In 2005, a 14-year-old girl walked into a Palm Beach police station and told officers that a wealthy man had paid her for a massage and sexually abused her. She gave them his name and his address. The Palm Beach Police Department investigated and found dozens more victims. Girls as young as 13 had been recruited from local schools and paid to perform sexual acts on a man named Jeffrey Epstein at his Palm Beach mansion. Detectives built a case that their chief described as one of the worst he had ever seen. They referred it to federal prosecutors, expecting serious federal charges. What happened next was one of the most extraordinary abuses of prosecutorial power in American legal history. The lead federal prosecutor secretly negotiated a deal with Epstein's lawyers that gave him immunity from all federal charges, allowed him to plead guilty to 2 minor state charges, and serve 13 months in a private wing of a county jail with work release 6 days a week. The victims were never told the deal was being negotiated. Under federal law, they had a legal right to be informed. That law was deliberately violated. This is the Epstein story, and it is not about a predator who got away with his crimes. It is about a system that protected him, and the questions that have never been answered about why. The Palm Beach investigation identified at least 36 victims. Detectives recommended Epstein be charged with 4 counts of unlawful sexual activity with a minor each, carrying a potential sentence of 15 years. The U.S. attorney at the time was a man named Alexander Acosta. Acosta entered into secret negotiations with Epstein's legal team, which included some of the most prominent defense attorneys in America. The deal they produced became known as the non-prosecution agreement. Epstein would plead guilty to 2 minor state charges, serve 13 months in county jail with work release 6 days a week, and register as a sex offender. He would also receive immunity from any federal prosecution for himself and any potential conspirators. That last clause is extraordinary. The agreement granted immunity not just to Epstein, but to unnamed co-conspirators who might have participated in or facilitated his crimes. Nobody knows with certainty who those co-conspirators were. The agreement ensured they would never be federally prosecuted. Acosta later said he had been told that Epstein was intelligence and to leave it alone. He did not specify which agency. He has never been asked to clarify under oath. Epstein served his 13 months, leaving his private jail wing 6 days a week for work release. When he was released in 2009, his wealth was intact, his social connections were intact, and his private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands was intact. Everything continued as before. It was not until 2018 that investigative journalist Julie K. Brown published a devastating series in the Miami Herald documenting the full scope of Epstein's crimes and the extraordinary nature of the deal he had received. Her reporting reignited legal interest in the case. In July 2019, federal prosecutors in New York arrested Epstein and charged him with sex trafficking of minors, carrying a potential sentence of 45 years. On August 10, 2019, he was found dead in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. The official cause of death was suicide by hanging. The circumstances raised immediate questions. Epstein had been taken off suicide watch shortly before his death, despite ongoing concerns. The cameras covering his cell malfunctioned and recorded nothing. His cellmate had been transferred out the previous day, leaving him alone. The guards assigned to check on him every 30 minutes had both fallen asleep and falsified their logs. A private forensic pathologist hired by Epstein's brother concluded the injuries were more consistent with homicide than suicide. That finding was dismissed without further investigation. Alexander Acosta had been appointed Secretary of Labor by President Trump in 2017. He resigned 1 week after Epstein's arrest in 2019. He has never been criminally charged for his handling of the original case. Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's longtime associate, who prosecutors alleged had recruited and groomed victims, was convicted in 2021 of sex trafficking and sentenced to 20 years in prison. The names of other powerful people connected to Epstein remain largely sealed. Court documents released beginning in 2024 named prominent individuals connected to his network. No additional prosecutions have resulted. The question Epstein forces you to ask is not whether a wealthy and well-connected man can buy his way out of serious criminal charges in America. He already proved he can. The question is, who told the federal prosecutor to leave it alone? And why nobody has ever been made to answer that question under oath?